How about this? Jimmy Harbaugh, Michigan Wolverines. Remember how this whole run up to the national championship, Aaron, we were continuously told by Jim Harbaugh that, he loves being recommitted to Michigan, and that's why he signed the extension there, so that all this NFL talk is done. In fact, on signing day in 2022 last year, remember, he actually met with the Minnesota Vikings on signing day, didn't get offered the job, and then later told reporters, quote, there was a pull to the NFL because I got that close to winning the Super Bowl, but this was the time, and this is the last time. Now, let's go chase college football's greatest prize. He did that. He beat Ohio State again. He won the Big Ten. He got to a playoff. But to show you just how bitterly disappointed an unexpected loss can be, you now lose to TCU, and now the athletic staff, which is full of great, legitimate reporters, is citing multiple sources that say, quote, they believe it's a done deal if he gets an NFL offer, like a offer, like one, it doesn't even matter where, that if he just gets an NFL offer, he's out, he's done, he's going back to the league. A year later, after being like, no, that was in, this is now, I'm done, I want to win a college football championship, he's like, nah, man, I don't think it's getting better than this. Get me to Indy, get me to, whatever, there's jobs all over the league right
Carolina,
now.
Denver, all really bad jobs. Yeah, that's just, I don't know, man.
But he doesn't care, reportedly, according to sources. He doesn't care about the quality of the NFL job. He just wants it.
See, I would care about the quality of the NFL job. I mean, we just the difference with him compared to other former college coaches who have jumped to the NFL is he really can do both. He's the rare breed that can have success in college and then can also then have success in the NFL. Like you said, he was one game away from winning a Super Bowl. He has an incredible record there in the NFL. He can, if he wanted to, go somewhere. It's going to be a headache. Like all those, like I say program because we talk so much about college, but all those teams in the NFL that he would take over for it's a building project. I mean, you go to Denver, your salary cap sucks because of Russell Wilson, and as Russell Wilson way past his prime, Carolina doesn't have a quarterback. There's just a lot of problems where do you want that headache? Where at Michigan, your things are going great. You made the playoffs the past 2 years. You just won the Big Ten twice. You got Ohio State at your home next year. You got JJ coming back as a quarterback who made some progress through the end of the season. I just think that you're in a spot right now where you can have another really, really good year at Michigan and then reevaluate what you want to do from there with maybe a better opportunity in the NFL. But, at the end of the day, like if I would go coach and you and I have bitched left and right, and especially me about why I would rather be doing this than coaching because of the hours that it takes away from you and your family. Being an NFL coach is a lot better than being a college coach. You don't have to deal with NIL. You don't have to deal with transfer portal. You don't have to deal with recruiting kids. Your scouting department deals with all that. You have more of a legitimate offseason. And if a guy sucks or if he wants to be a pain in the ass, you can just cut him. You don't have to go kiss his ass. So a lot more perks to being an NFL coach compared to being a college coach. So maybe he's just sick of all the grind, nonsense, BS that all these college coaches has to do and just wants to get back to the NFL, which I don't blame him for.
I think, Aaron, there could also be, this is conjecture. Okay. I'm not reporting this. I'm not saying that I read any reporting to this. But we do know that when things were bad in 2020, Jim Harbaugh got his salary cut from $8 million to $4 million. Mm-hmm. And he also, of his own accord, took his bonus that he was due and he gave it to Michigan staff members affected by COVID cuts, which is, something to be applauded. But why I'm bringing this up is I don't care how much money a human being makes. Humans always want more money. And at a certain point, I think you get so much money that people start caring about pride and ego and things like that more than anything else, and legacy, and maybe college coaches especially. And so I want everybody to play a little mental exercise. Okay. If you got it's almost like, okay, I know a bunch of relationships I know a few relationships where there's been like a cheating incident, right? And maybe these people have been together so long, like, we really don't want to end this. Like, let's just try to work through this, right? Sometimes people really can work through it. Many times they cannot, because they always have this seed of resentment lodged in the back of the head. True forgiveness is hard to achieve, even though it can feel normal at times, and even though it can feel like it's getting better and better and better, right? And that's almost like what I see at Michigan, where Harbaugh, yeah, man, he played nice. Okay, you cut my, like, how would you feel if you got your salary cut by 50% by your employer? And you're just kind of waiting until you're back on top and you have the leverage again, and then you can give them the double middle fingers and say, okay, you got me when I'm down. Well, look who has the power now. And so I think I think the main thing is, like you said, wanting to get out of college, get back to the NFL, chase that Super Bowl he was so close to. But I don't think it's like, I can also see that just from a pure human standpoint, that this has to feel like a little bit of sweet revenge. Like, okay, you're basically ready to get rid of me. Well, now I am breaking up with you instead of the other way around. And also, let's look at Jim Harbaugh's NFL record, because it's incredible. He took over the Niners in 2011. At that time, San Francisco had gone 8 years without a winning season. 8 years in a row. They made the NFC Championship year 1. Super Bowl year 2, NFC Championship year 3. The man has a 44-19-1 record as an NFL head coach. The only thing that sucks about Jim Harbaugh, Aaron, is he has maybe suffered more big game pain than any coach I've ever seen, right? 1-2 in NFC Championships, 0-1 in the Super Bowl, and now 0-2 in this college football playoffs. He's gotten so close so many times, he just cannot quite, a lot of Final Fours, just can't quite get over the finish line.
I just, he's obviously, he's been at Michigan for a while. He's been through the bad, he's been through the good. He's faced Georgia last year. He's seen Georgia. He's from a distance has seen what Alabama's done. Does he look at the situation right now at Michigan and just say, and we all know, like, the recruits up north are different than the recruits in the Southeast. They just are. Players in the Southeast, whether it's Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, to Texas, and even out to California, I'll throw them in there too on the West, are a little bit more skilled than, say, those guys in the Midwest. And nothing against those kids. Like, that's a great football team. Those are great football players. But are they good enough to win a championship? Are they good enough with the way Georgia's bringing the top talent from the Southeast and Alabama and all these schools down here? Are they good enough to get over that hurdle to win a national championship? Because he has to be realistic too. Like, he's like, I mean, have I reached the top of the mountain? Is this as good as it's going to get for me at Michigan? Have I done all that I can with the best players that I could possibly assemble on a football team? Yeah. And I couldn't get it done. I don't have the personnel. And I really like the NFL. I had success in the NFL. And I have a more control over building my roster there through the draft, through free agency, to maybe contend for a Super Bowl one day. I mean, that's a personal conversation that he has to ask himself. But, as someone that has played SEC football, someone that watches a lot of SEC football and Big Ten football, there is no doubt that there is more talent in this part of the country than there is in the Midwest in order to have more success, in order to win a national championship. I mean, we've all seen it. I mean, for the past 20 years, the SEC has been supreme when it comes to either making it to the playoffs, making it to the BCS, and then going on to win national championships. It is really tough for some of these schools across the country to go out there and compete like that.
Yeah, I agree. And, like, I mean, to your point, Aaron, is it going to get better than beating Ohio State twice and winning back-to-back Big Ten championships? I just don't know, because what happens next year? You lose, and then everybody's upset again, and then you're not as hot on the coaching circuit again.